All right. Before we officially begin with the pregame show in a few minutes, let me just do a couple of things. First of all, of course, is the test of the audio. I want to make sure that I'm not too loud, nor the crowd mic is too loud. And another thing, too, the chat is active for those of you who are watching on YouTube on this live stream. So if you have anything to say, feel free to mention it. Although, keep it family oriented because this is a family oriented show, family oriented entertainment. That's basically it. Just want to say that this is the first time that the live stream is activated with a live chat. So if you have anything to say, if you want to support your fellow Eagles, if you have anything to add about the game, or if you have something to say about your day, as long as it's all good things, please feel free to write it down. That concludes this sound check, and we'll be back with the pregame show about the 8-minute mark. So we have about 8 minutes to go, 8.5 minutes to go. I'll talk to all of you then. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami. I am David Griffith, the voice of the Eagles, and thank you for joining us for women's basketball on the UFTL Sports Network. Happy Sunday, everyone. Today, we have a matchup between two teams looking to get back on track. We have the visiting Voorhees College Tigers, a team that comes in with a record of 2 wins and 10 losses on the season. And they're a team that defensively, when everything goes wrong for them, everything does go wrong. But they're also a team offensively that when they get going, they really do get going. And that's all because of a few of their key returners this season in Taishimia Bunkley, Inga Colclough, and Anaze Ravenel, who was all conference last season, despite the fact that they lost Brittany McDonald and Ashley Johnson due to graduation from the season before. For Fort Lauderdale, they come in with a record of 1-5, and they're a team where it's been really strange for them the last couple of weeks because over the last few games they played, they've stuck with their opponent for the entirety of the first half, including having a lead for the entire first quarter against undefeated NAIA powerhouse St. Thomas University down in Miami Gardens. And they were able to stick around until halftime despite the fact they were down going into the half. The second half, they only had a combined 6 points, including just 2 in the entire third quarter as the Fort Lauderdale Lady Eagles come out on the floor. And if you saw them, if you're able to watch them during their shoot-around before the game began, know that this is an inspired bunch. They play with a lot of intensity. Joy Alameen has her women playing at a very high level despite the 1-5 record. She said come December, before the season began, that this team is capable of doing good things, and they're getting some more players back, including Lexus Lee and Jalen Bryant. You'll also see Yelena Thomas making her home debut, and she'll be one of the starters, just as a spoiler alert. And Fort Lauderdale will need all the help they can get to try to get back into winning ways against a winnable opponent in the Voorhees College Tigers. That is all coming up in just a few minutes, so we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will have the pregame festivities, including the starting lineups of both teams here at the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami. David Griffith, the voice of the Eagles, back at the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami, where we are just moments away from the pregame festivities, including the national anthem and the starting lineups of both squads. Voorhees College at 2-10 on the road against the 1-5 University of Fort Lauderdale Lady Eagles. But for Fort Lauderdale, some positives along the way. They've gotten some players back, and you'll see a couple of players in this game today that they did not have previously, including Lexus Lee and Yelena Thomas. They just had their first playing time when they were on the road during the recent road trip the last couple of weeks. And in front of the hometown crowd, let's see if it invigorates them. You'll also see Brittany Carver come off the bench today, despite her being a full-time starter for most of the season. Joy Alamein trying to mix it up as best as she can. In the meantime, we're getting set for the national anthem, so let's go down to courtside.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Scott Galvin Community Center for today's boys basketball matchup between the Lily Tigers of Voorhees University and your University of Fort Lauderdale Eagles. We ask you to please rise and move your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
So there you have the starting lineups for both teams. First for Voorhees, number 20, Alyssa Herter. Number 21, Tyshemia Bunkley. Number 22, Nadisha Ford. Number 24, Inga Kolklau. And number 42, Anaze Ravenel. For Fort Lauderdale, number 0, Lexus Lee. Number 1, Yelena Thomas. Number 3, Jalen Bryant. Number 12, Esther Joseph. And number 15, Tyra Wright, who's also beginning at center with Christiana Mormon starting on the bench. Brittany Carver will be coming off the bench, as will Courage Johnson. Carver's played tremendously as a starter, but with Fort Lauderdale getting a lot of their players back, a 11 players on their roster now. Joy Alameen wants to utilize them as much as she can. Maddie Milius still out. She's operating the camera this afternoon. As we get set for Sunday afternoon action at the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami. Tyra Wright getting ready to jump it up, but before we begin, a little bit of a, well, looks like we have a technical free throw right off the bat. I don't know what this is about, but Anaze Ravenel shoots the technical free throw, and just like that, before the game even gets started, Voorhees has a point. And it's 1-0 Voorhees before the ball's even tipped up into the air. I've never seen this occur before. But we have the tip. Cole Clow against Wright. Loose ball taken by Alyssa Herter. Loose ball in the corner. Fort Lauderdale has it. Esther Joseph stuck in the corner. Gets out of the corner. Fort Lauderdale has to get out of the backcourt, but they cannot do it because there's a... Actually, I think there was supposed to be a reset of the shot clock, but no reset occurred. Shot clock set at 13. The three on the way from the left wing. It's not even close from Jalen Bryant. Rebound by Fort Lauderdale. Yelena Thomas underneath the rim. Clears it out. Lexus Lee resets. Bounce pass to Tyra Wright. Jumper at 15. Left side of the lane. No. Rebound by Ravenel of Voorhees College. So 40 seconds into the contest, it is a 1-0 lead for Voorhees on the technical free throw that occurred before the start of the game. Inside of Ravenel. Puts up a little floater. No. Rebound by Tyra Wright. That did not draw any iron at all. Yelena Thomas, left wing, goes inside. Pull up 15-footer. It's an air ball. Rebound by Lexus Lee of Fort Lauderdale. Holds it up outside the arc. Shot clock not a factor. Lee into the lane. Layup, a wild shot. Doesn't get it. Rebound by Ravenel. Voorhees back on the offensive. There's a layup on the other side. No, out of bounds. Last touch by Ravenel. Fort Lauderdale gets it back. Nadisha Ford on that layup attempt. And that wasn't even close. Ford sits. Sanaya Snow into the game. Tyra Wright sits for Fort Lauderdale. Actually, she doesn't sit. Rather, she's getting some instructions from Joy Alameen. Yelena Thomas ready to inbound on the far side of the floor. Fort Lauderdale trails 1-0, a minute and 20 seconds into the first quarter. Eagles looking for their first score of the game. Tyra Wright left of the lane, lost the ball, and Voorhees back on the offensive. Snow, fresh into the game, has the ball for the first time. Over to Herter and back to Snow outside the arc. Cole Clow, loose ball in the lane, taken away by Wright. Fort Lauderdale on the offensive once again. Lexus Lee against Snow. Blocked by Snow. Gets it back, and Voorhees on the offensive. A minute 50 into this first half. It's still a 1-0 lead for Voorhees. Layup on the attempt by Ravenel. Doesn't go. Herter comes up with a rebound. Loose ball, a steal by Lexus Lee. Fort Lauderdale on the offensive once again. 2 minutes, 10 seconds into the first quarter. It's a 1-0 lead for Voorhees College. Lee to Joseph, right wing, back to Lee, straight away outside the arc. Holds it over her head, finds Elena Thomas on the left wing. 1-on-1 against Snow, backs up, finds Lee straight away outside the arc. The defensive chant going on for Voorhees bench. Three, not even close from Jalen Bryant, kept alive. Shot clock violation. It didn't draw any iron, so it's a 30-second shot clock violation on the Lady Eagles, and Voorhees back on the offensive. Another substitution as Inga Cole-Clow sits, replaced by number 33, Nia Marshall. Fort Lauderdale in their white uniforms with maroon trim. Voorhees College in their black uniforms, blue trim. Herter outside the arc. Feeds it to Snow, 1-on-1 against Joseph. 20-foot jumper rattles in for Voorhees College. That was number 33, Nia Marshall, her first action, and gets a bucket. 3-0 Voorhees, 3 minutes into the first quarter. Throws the ball away out of bounds. Lexus Lee does into the Voorhees bench. And Voorhees gets the ball right back, and that prompts Charlotte Loers into the game for Jalen Bryant. Jalen Bryant, Elena Thomas with her first game for Fort Lauderdale at home. 3-0 Voorhees leads, looking to add on to this lead as they attack left to right. Cross-court pass to Herder outside the arc, 1-on-1 against Thomas. Tipped away, but kept alive by Ravenel. Second chance bucket, no, out of bounds. Fort Lauderdale gets it back as Snow did not have that one deflected one iota. Good defense on the front 47 for the Lady Eagles. And Fort Lauderdale once again in the offensive, too high on the pass. The full court press from Voorhees College, and the Lady Tigers with possession over by the scorers table. 6:31 remaining in the first quarter. It's a 3-0 Voorhees lead. Alyssa Herder on the inbound. Finds Anaya Snow. Brings it across the midcourt line. Marshall outside the arc and back to Snow. Into Herder. Blanket coverage on the defense by Tyra Wright. Wild shot. Doesn't go. Gets herself to the line. Alyssa Herder goes to the line. The foul is on number 1, Yelena Thomas, her first personal. Alyssa Herder to shoot a couple of free throws. Only 47% on free throw percentage, averaging 4.4 points per game. She's looking for her first points overall at the 6:16 mark of the first quarter, and Voorhees with a 3-0 lead. Fort Lauderdale, they've not been able to get off the snide yet, but the game is still young. Herder getting ready for her first free throw. It's on its way, and it's good. She rattles it in, and Herder has her first point. It's a 4-0 Voorhees first quarter lead. One more free throw upcoming for Alyssa Herder to give her a deuce. 6'1" Charlotte Loers at the number one slot of the lane. Doesn't get a chance for a rebound because Herder knocks them both down. 5-0 in favor of Voorhees, intercepted by Snow. Back comes Voorhees, already with a 5-0 lead. Back to Herder outside the arc. Inside to Ravenel, back to Snow. Herder's got it. Pull up 18-footer, strong. Rebound by Marshall, out of bounds, deflected out by Lexus Lee. It still belongs to Voorhees. Joy Alamine doubling down, emptying her bench as Kanisha Battle, Brittany Carver, encourage shots into the game for the Eagles. There's a three for the far side, not even close from Tyshemia Bunkley. Fort Lauderdale averts would-be disaster if they have the ball offensively. Battle inside, puts up a shot, doesn't get it. Rebound by Ravenel, whistle, foul on Fort Lauderdale. I think it's on Battle. Battle's first playing time had a chance for a bucket, but it rattled out. Battle picks up her first personal foul. Fort Lauderdale with 2 team fouls. Voorhees with none. Snow back with it for Voorhees. They hold a 5-0 lead and really doing everything well on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Snow has it. Finds Ravenel in the middle of the lane. Goes around Charlotte Loers and puts it up over her. Nice shot for Voorhees College. They lead 7-0. 5:10 remaining in the first quarter. Carver open three, left wing, rattles out. Loose ball on the floor. Scramble for it. Jump ball signal goes up. It belongs to Fort Lauderdale. 7-0 in favor of Voorhees. Another substitution for the Lady Tigers as Bunkley comes out, replaced by number 22, Nadisha Ford. Inbound to Charlotte Lors. 1-1 against Herder. That's a backcourt violation because it wasn't deflected. Carver gives pursuit, and it goes back to Voorhees. As we're more than halfway through the first quarter, it's a 7-0 Voorhees advantage, and that prompts a timeout from Fort Lauderdale. Behind 7-0 at the 4:55 mark in the first quarter. It's still early in the contest, but Fort Lauderdale taking a timeout, trying to settle it down with a 7-0 hole on the UFTL Sports Network. It's a 7-0 lead for Voorhees, 4:55 remaining in the first quarter. The timeout taken by Fort Lauderdale, and one that will settle them down, Joy Alameen Hope. And one that will settle them down, Joy Alameen Hopes, because they're off to a lackadaisical start. The good news is there's still a lot of basketball to be played, despite the 7-0 hole, and she has the right players in for the job, including Courage Johnson, Charlotte Lors, and Brittany Carver. We get ready to reset. Herder to inbound on the offensive side of the floor for Voorhees. Can they keep it from being a backcourt violation? They do, but Brittany Carver has it deflected right to her, lays it up and out, and a rebound by Ford of Voorhees as Carver did everything right but put it in the bucket. We have a whistle and a timeout taken by Voorhees as head coach Edward Glover of Voorhees unhappy about something one of his players did. So after Fort Lauderdale takes a timeout, Voorhees takes one in response. 30-second timeout. Reading the riot act to Ford. I think he was unhappy with the way that Ford played that potentially dangerous sequence from Voorhees. The 30-second timeout by VC. So they get ready to inbound. And again, it's Alyssa Herder between the Fort Lauderdale bench and the scorer's table. Herder, the 6-foot sophomore from Philadelphia, a transfer from Palm Beach State College, so she's on familiar territory. Snow, three straight away, got it. First three of the game, and it goes to Sanaya Snow. 10-0 lead for Voorhees. Lost ball taken away by Voorhees. Ford down the lane, puts it up and out. Rebound by Fort Lauderdale, taken away by Kenesha Battle. Charlotte Lors up the floor, double covered, puts it up, and layup only hits the side of the rim, but that's all. Doesn't draw the board at all. Doesn't draw the glass. Alyssa Herder 1-1 against Carver on the offensive side for Voorhees as they attack from left to right. 1-1 against Carver, over to Ford. 1-1 against Battle, goes up with it, shot doesn't go. Rebound by Ravenel, gets a second chance bucket. Ravenel with her first field goal gets her 3 points. 12-0 lead for Voorhees. 3:40 remaining in the first quarter. Brittany Carver, double team, bounce pass back to Joseph. Charlotte Lors at the foul line. Goes left of the lane, sandwich inside, layup out, gets her own rebound, puts it back up and puts it in. Charlotte Lors gets Fort Lauderdale on the board, 12-2. 3:25 remaining in the first quarter. Fort Lauderdale hits a bucket at the 3:25 mark of the first quarter. Down by 10, 12-2. Next time instead, Yelena Thomas back into the game for the Eagles. Brittany Carver almost took it away. Whistle traveling on Voorhees by Nia Marshall. And here comes Yelena Thomas back into the game for the Lady Eagles as Kenesha Battle subs out. Also back in for Voorhees is Inga Colclough for Anaze Ravenel. Also Zanaya Snow is out. Tyshemia Bunkley back in. Charlotte Loris has the ball right wing. Goes inside against Herter. Whistle and a blocking foul on Herter. Loris gets herself to the line. It's the first team foul on Voorhees, and it goes on number 20, Alyssa Herter. Loris to the line for a couple of free throws. She has the only 2 points for Fort Lauderdale so far in this quarter. Eagles down 12-2, but Loris can cut it to single digits with a couple of free throws. Loris' first free throw is perfect. Loris comes into this game shooting about 60% on free throw percentage. Second free throw from Loris is short, and a rebound by Bunkley of Voorhees. But Fort Lauderdale does cut it to single digits. It's 12-3. Double teamed is Bunkley. Lost the ball. Out of bounds. Fort Lauderdale's ball. Solid defense the entire sequence by the Lady Eagles, including by Brittany Carver and Esther Joseph. Carver has the ball up the floor. 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. 12-3. Voorhees leads. Thomas left wing. Bounce pass to the right wing to Charlotte Loris. Goes inside right of the lane. Wild shot. Doesn't draw any iron. Rather just deflects off of the board and right back down to Marshall of Voorhees. Cross-court pass, almost intercepted. Whistle and a foul, I think, on Esther Joseph of Fort Lauderdale. And indeed it is. Joseph picks up her first personal. The third team foul on UFTL. Zanaya Snow back into the game for Nadisha Ford. The inbound from Bunkley. Finds Snow. Back to Bunkley at the far corner. Swiped away by Loris, out of bounds. Fort Lauderdale gets the ball back. Last touch by Bunkley. So Fort Lauderdale with another defensive stop, their second in a row. The inbound to Brittany Carver. Fort Lauderdale has to get out of their own backcourt. Lobs it to Elena Thomas. They do get in the front court. Charlotte, or Esther Joseph rather. 1-on-1 against Snow. Goes left of the lane. Back to Loris. 3 near corner. Gets the bounce. No. It got the bounce, but it went out the wrong way. Bounces behind the backboard and out of bounds. So Fort Lauderdale with an empty possession. That was their chance to put a crack in Voorhees' armor, but not that time. Runner by Snow. Doesn't go. Kept alive. No. Almost kept alive by Marshall, but Fort Lauderdale has the ball back offensively. Down 12-3 with 1:54 remaining in the first quarter. This is a chance to get back into this game. They're down by 9, but there's still plenty of basketball to play. Knocked away from Charlotte Loris, taken away by Colclough. Snow has the ball, holds it over her head. Cross-court pass to Bunkley, double team. Loris with a block and a foul on Loris, despite the fact that she got the block. And we'll see if Bunkley goes to the line. And it looks like she is. Charlotte Loris picks up her first personal foul and the fourth team foul on UFTL in the quarter. Marshall out. Ravenel back in for Voorhees. Free throws upcoming for Tyshemia Bunkley, the sophomore from Talbotton, Georgia. First free throw way short off the front of the rim. Bunkley comes into this game 73% on free throws. Second free throw rattles in. Bunkley gets her first point. Back up to a 10-point game for Voorhees, 13-3. Bounce pass to Loris, deflects over to Jalen Bryant. Fort Lauderdale keeps control. Elena Thomas outside the arc. Kenesha Battle back into the game as Brittany Carver gets a breather. Battle can shoot it from beyond the arc. Thomas right wing 3. Oh, just a bit off to the side. Rebound by Marshall, and Snow back with it for the Voorhees College Tigers. 1:07 remaining in the first quarter, 13-3 Voorhees. Colclough, cross-court pass to Bunkley. Double teamed inside, draws a air ball and a rebound by Johnson of Fort Lauderdale. Courage Johnson back on the offensive with it. Thomas left wing, passes it to Battle straight away outside the arc. Bryant right wing. Backs it up and resets. 45 seconds left in the quarter. A 13-3 lead, just lost the ball on her own accord. Tipped away, whistle, foul on Johnson. And that's the 5th team foul on Fort Lauderdale, so that means it's free throws for Voorhees. And at the line is Snow. She has 3 points, which was a 3-pointer earlier in the quarter. This is the first game of a back-to-back for Fort Lauderdale. Tomorrow they're on the road at Florida Memorial. As Snow knocks down the first free throw, gives her 4 points for the quarter, and it's 14-3 Voorhees. Snow at 62.5% on free throws. Second free throw is down. 15-3 Voorhees leads. 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Fort Lauderdale trying to stay with Voorhees in this opening quarter. Kanisha Battle goes inside of the lane, finds Lors, does a little spin around 360, can't get the shot. Rebound by Voorhees. Shot clock is off. Snow back with it. 20 seconds left on the game clock. Voorhees can take their time. They have a 15-3 first quarter lead. Snow 1-1 against Battle. Bunkley at 8. Back to Snow at 7. Over to Bunkley outside the arc. Shoots a 3. Rattles it in. Tyshemia Bunkley with her first field goal of the game. Minutes at 3 as the first quarter expires. An 18-3 lead for Voorhees as they did everything well in the first quarter. Fort Lauderdale down by 15, 18-3 against the visiting Voorhees College Tigers. 18-3 is the score. Second quarter to begin momentarily. We'll take a break and come back for the second 10 minutes of play on the UFTL Sports Network. Back here on the UFTL Sports Network, the Scott Galvin Community Center. David Griffith back with you, the voice of the Eagles. 18-3 is the score. Voorhees out in front. They get the ball on the inbound to begin the second quarter, attacking left to right. This is a game that started off with Voorhees getting a technical free throw before the jump ball to start the game even began. Ravenel, layup, no. Out of bounds, Fort Lauderdale's ball. Last touch by Herter. Kuros Johnson inbounds it to Elena Thomas. Fort Lauderdale on the offensive, down 18-3 and looking for good fortune in the second quarter. Elena Thomas, runner from the side, no. Rebound by Charlotte Lors, puts it up and in with a second chance layup. Lors has all 5 points for Fort Lauderdale. It's 18-5, 30 seconds into the second quarter. Snow behind the back to Herter outside the arc. Bounce pass to Bunkley and back to Herter straight away. 1-1 against Battle. Offensive foul on Herter. Knocks down Kanisha Battle as she steps into the free throw line. As Herter picks up her second personal foul, she checks out. Nia Marshall back in for Voorhees. Kuros Johnson on the offensive, 18-5. Fort Lauderdale trails, but they did put across the first points of the second quarter. First and only points, so Fort Lauderdale's hoping the second quarter is any different. Out of bounds. Voorhees gets the ball back. Solid defense by Sanaya Snow, knocking it away from Charlotte Lors and also knocking it off of Lors as Voorhees gets the ball right back. Head coach Edward Glover on his feet, giving some instructions to his squad. Snow double team, whistle, foul on Johnson as she knocks down Snow. Johnson picks up her second foul, second personal, and the first team foul in Fort Lauderdale. 9:02 remaining in the second quarter. Snow is out. Nadisha Ford back in, number 22 for Voorhees. Bunkley outside the arc by the hash mark. Finds Ford, directing traffic. Goes inside on Joseph, kicks it out to Ford. 3, left side. Oh! It rattles out to Courage Johnson. Fort Lauderdale on the offensive. Fast break, 1 against 2. Hands it off to Joseph, resets. Joseph inside, almost forgot the ball. Finds Battle, back to Joseph. 3, far side, strong. Rebound by Ford to Voorhees. Joseph did everything right but make the shot. Voorhees with a shot, air ball. Ravenel comes down with it. We'll call it a pass to Ravenel, and she puts it up and in. 5 points for Ravenel. It is 20-5 in favor of Voorhees. 8:15 left in the quarter. Throw it behind Jalen Bryant, but she collects it anyway. Outside the arc to Esther Joseph. Cross-court pass to Johnson. 3, left wing, off the front rim. And Karam's down to Bunkley of Voorhees. Ford goes around Joseph, doesn't get the layup, but Ravenel gets the rebound. Voorhees back on the offensive. 7:50 remaining in the first half. Bunkley outside the arc, bounce pass to Ford. Shot clock not a factor. 1-1 against Bryant. Ford finds Bunkley. Shot clock down to 5. Ford at the right wing. 1-1 against Bryant. Goes inside. Finds Ravenel. Lays it up and in at the buzzer. Ravenel has 7. 22-5 in favor of Voorhees. 7:25 remaining in the second quarter. Joseph outside the arc. They have to avoid the 10-second violation, and forget about that. The whistle blows for a 10-second violation on Fort Lauderdale. And here comes Tyra Wright and Brittany Carver back into the game for the Eagles as Courage Johnson and Jalen Bryant sit. Tyshemia Bunkley inbounds it to Nadisha Ford. A 22-5 lead for Voorhees College. Ford 1-1 against Joseph at the Fort Lauderdale bench area. Whistle, foul on Ford. Fort Lauderdale has it back as Nadisha Ford picks up her first personal foul and the second team foul on Voorhees. Brittany Carver to inbound. 7:07 remaining in the second quarter. Carver inbounds it to Esther Joseph. Fort Lauderdale trails by 17. Battle finds Carver outside the arc left wing. Hands it off to Joseph. Fakes right, goes left to Battle. 3, left side, off the front of the rim. One-handed rebound with the left hand by Loris. Reverse layup, got it. Charlotte Loris has all 7 points for Fort Lauderdale. 22-7. Fort Lauderdale down by 15. 6:43 remaining in the first half. Length of the court pass to Cole Cloud. Can't finish. Rebound by Tyra Wright. Fort Lauderdale fortunate. They're back on the offensive. Esther Joseph back up the floor. 1-1 against Snow. Kicks it out to Carver at the left wing. She's open for a 3. Off to the right. Rebound by Joseph. Goes around to the foul line and gets it at the foul lane. Does Esther Joseph, and somebody else other than Charlotte Loris scores. It's 22-9. Fort Lauderdale has 4 in a row. They're back within 13, 22-9. 6:10 remaining in the first half. Cross-court pass to Snow. Goes around Joseph, out of bounds. Knocked away by Carver. It stays with Voorhees, but a heads-up defensive play by Brittany Carver. As we have a substitution on the floor. As Ravenel comes out, her left knee in a brace and all. Apparently good to go for today. Into Felder. Teardrop falls short. Rebound by Inga Coldcloud. Voorhees keeps control. They reset. Snow outside the arc. Shot clock's at 10. 3 from the left wing is out by Bunkley. There's a layup, doesn't go from Felder. Rebound and puts it up and in for Tyshemia Bunkley, giving her 6 points for the contest. 24-9. Voorhees leads. It breaks up the 4-0 UFTL run. 5:35 remaining in the first half. Carver at the left wing. Fort Lauderdale down by 15. Trying to cut into this lead some more. Kenesha Battle finds Carver. 3, right wing. Got it. Brittany Carver's first points of the game. And that is a swish for Carver. 24-12. Fort Lauderdale's down by a dozen. They've scored 7 of the last 9 points in this contest. Snow, fast break against Tyra Wright. Wild shot on the layup, doesn't go, out of bounds. Wright was on the line. And it's Voorhees' ball because of that. And it's a shame, too, because Fort Lauderdale played solid defense there, disrupting the layup and then getting the rebound. But Tyra Wright just a little bit out of position to collect it. Nia Marshall, inbound to the Bunkley, 3 over Carver, got it! Looked a little long, but she got the bounce, Bunkley did. Her second 3 of the game gives her 9 points, 27-12, over halfway through the second quarter officially. 4:55 remaining. Esther Joseph outside the arc. Dribbles with her right hand, finds Kanisha Battle outside the arc. Carver at the right wing, she made 1 3 from there. Joseph at the far corner, 1-on-1 against Marshall. Finds Battle, 3, left wing, that's off to the right. Rebound by Snow. Voorhees back on the offensive again. They lead 27-12. Fast break play. Bunkley against Carver. Settles it out. Back outside to Snow. They reset. Into Felder. Outside to Bunkley. Wide open for a 3 from the far corner. That's too short. Off the front rim. Loose ball tipped around. Voorhees back in control. At the foul line is Cole Clow. Whistle foul on Lors. Charlotte Lors picks up the foul. Her second personal. Each team with 2 personal fouls in this second quarter as we have a whistle and a timeout on the floor taken by Voorhees. 27-12 in favor of Voorhees. 4:14 remaining in the second quarter, and they have the ball in the inbounds play when we return on the UFTL Sports Network. So after the timeout, it's free throws for Inga Colclough, I believe, or no, she was actually just at the free throw line because that's where she was situated on the floor. It wasn't a shooting foul. It's an inbound for Voorhees. They do have possession of the ball. Bunkley on the inbound finds Colclough at the foul line. Snow outside the arc, bounce pass to Bunkley, 1-on-1 against Tyra Wright, doesn't get the shot, taken away by Fort Lauderdale. Esther Joseph with the rebound, back up the floor, 1 against 3. Brittany Carver against Snow, back outside to Joseph for the left wing. Carver at the near side, 3 on the way, got it. The left wing. Carver at the near side, 3 on the way, got it. Brittany Carver has 6 points, all by way of the 3. A couple of 3s for Brittany Carver. 27-15, Fort Lauderdale's back within 12, 3:45 remaining in the second quarter. Felder, back to Marshall and over to Snow. Voorhees leads by 12, and they've been in full control of this game since they had a technical free throw before the opening tip. You don't see that every day, that's for sure. Bunkley outside the arc, cross-court pass to Snow, shot clock is at 6. Snow over to Felder, jumper from 20, perfect. First points for Kiana Felder, 29-15 in favor of Voorhees. They push the lead back up to 14. Fort Lauderdale again stuck in the backcourt. Whistle, foul on Taishimia Bunkley. That is Bunkley's first, and an inbound coming from Brittany Carver. .305 remaining in the first half. Fort Lauderdale looking to finish off the half on a positive note and try to stay in this game. Voorhees has been in full control, but Fort Lauderdale not going away that easily. Carver Inside to Tyra Wright, whistle on the layup, and Wright goes to the line for free throws. Lexus Lee is back into the game for the Eagles for the first time since the opening whistle. The foul on Voorhees, and at the line is Tyra Wright. Looking again on the scorer's sheet. She doesn't have any points yet. Wright comes into this game around 40% on free throw shooting. Her first shot is long. One more free throw coming up for Tyra Wright. Ravenel's at the scorer's table. Wright misses them both. That one misses off the front of the rim short. Snow back the other way. Felder made one jumper from the left side. Can't make it from the left side. That draws nothing but the board. And a rebound by Lexus Lee. White headband and all. Finds Carver left wing. That's her favorite spot. Three. Yes. Brittany Carver left all alone, and Voorhees made a mistake leaving her all alone. 9 points for Carver, all by way of the three. 3 threes and all for her. 29-18. Fort Lauderdale back within 11. Bad pass on the bullet pass to Felder, out of bounds. Fort Lauderdale back on the offensive with a chance to cut it to a single-digit game, single-digit deficit. Inga Colclough out. Anaze Ravenel back into the game, but a timeout on the floor, 30-second timeout taken by Voorhees. 2:18 left in the first half, an 11-point lead. Fort Lauderdale with the inbounds play when we return in just a moment. So after the 30-second timeout taken by Voorhees, Fort Lauderdale has the inbound with Esther Joseph. They're down by 11, 29-18, but a basket here. They're back within single digits, something they've not been since late in the first quarter. Joseph with a bounce pass to Carver, left wing. Fort Lauderdale trying to stay in this game. They're exerting a lot of energy in the second quarter, trying to come back. Shot clock is at 8. Brittany Carver, left wing. She shoots it again. That's off to the right. Rebound, chased down by nobody. It's out of bounds. Last touch by Ravenel of Voorhees. Fort Lauderdale has it out of bounds on the front side of the court. Joseph to inbound. Bounces it to Tyra Wright. That's a wild shot. It's an air ball by about 5 feet from the left side. Joseph gives pursuit, takes it away, and then Fort Lauderdale has it back with Lexus Lee as Kenesha Battle shoots up a three, just a bit long, and it ricochets right down to Voorhees and Bunkley, and there's a shot on the layup all alone by Snow. Gives her 7 points for the contest, 31-18. Fort Lauderdale back down by 13. Voorhees can thank Fort Lauderdale for that one. Brittany Carver at the left wing. She thought about shooting it because she's been hot from the left side, but not that time. Lee controls it. Shot clock at 10. Lee inside to Esther Joseph, who wasn't ready for it, throws it behind her and taken away by Snow. 1 minute remaining until halftime. Voorhees leads by 13, 31-18. Intercepted by Carver, read the pass perfectly. Stays in bounds. Carver down the lane. Layup in. Brittany Carver from the left side of the basket, as Bunkley couldn't get there in time. 11 points for Carver, 42 seconds left until halftime. Ravenel all alone, right side of the basket, lays it up and in from the right side. Ravenel with 9, 33-20, Voorhees leads. 32 seconds left in the first half. It was 18-3, Voorhees in the conclusion of the first quarter, currently 33-20. Fort Lauderdale with one more offensive shot, you would think. Brittany Carver outside the arc, two-handed chest pass to Kenesha Battle, inside, gets a shot and one! As she hits the deck and has a chance for a three-point play. What a shot by Kenesha Battle. She gets her first points of the game and has a chance for a 3-point play. Nadisha Ford into the game for Sanaya Snow, and Inga Colclough in for Nia Marshall, or rather for number 23, Kiana Felder. And Battle completes the 3-point play by picking up the free throw. 33-23, Fort Lauderdale down by 10. Fort Lauderdale will take it, considering the fact they were down 18-3 at the end of the first quarter. Ford into Colclough, outside the arc. There's a 20-foot jumper. No. Down to one. Lee can't get a shot off. Whistle goes off to end the first half, and Fort Lauderdale does come back a little bit. Despite being down 18-3 at the end of one, they've managed to pull within 33-23 as we reach the midway point of this contest. As Fort Lauderdale outscores Voorhees by 5 points. And we'll see if the second half they can continue their comeback. In the meantime, we have halftime at the Scott Galvin Community Center. 33-23, Voorhees out in front. They've not trailed in this entire game, but Fort Lauderdale not going away that easily, as indicated by the score. We'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half on the UFTL Sports Network. Welcome back to the Scott Galvin Community Center in North Miami. Second half about to get underway in just a moment. Voorhees College and the University of Fort Lauderdale women's basketball squad, the Eagles, the Lady Eagles, 33-25, Voorhees leads. In the first half numbers, Voorhees came out on fire, holding Fort Lauderdale to just 1 of 16 shooting from the field in the entire first quarter. While Voorhees, for the game, they've only shot 34%. Fort Lauderdale's only shooting 27%, but the good news for them is the second quarter, thanks to a 47% shooting quarter, and them being down 18-3 at the end of the first quarter, they've been able to cut it down to 10. And they can thank Brittany Carver with her 11 points, the leading scorer, and 3 threes, all from the left wing. Will the second half prove to be different for Fort Lauderdale, or will Voorhees keep up their domination just like they did in the first 20 minutes? We're about to find out. Voorhees at 2-10, Fort Lauderdale at 1-5. It really goes without saying that both of these teams are in search of a win. Voorhees has lost 3 in a row. Fort Lauderdale's lost 2 in a row. And Fort Lauderdale begins with the ball to begin the third quarter. Esther Joseph gets ready to inbound. And before we do, Inga Colclough has to throw away her warm-up shirt. And now here we go, the second half. Joseph inbounds it to Lexus Lee. Fort Lauderdale moving from left to right. Brittany Carver finds Esther Joseph at the left side of the lane. Back out to Lee. White headband and all, has it deflected, collects her own mistake. Lost the ball, taken away by Colclough. Here comes Voorhees with Snow. 1-1 against Carver, lays it up and in. Went right over Carver. Snow with her 9th point of the game. It is 35-23 in favor of Voorhees. They go back up by 12. Tyra right of the lane, layup out. Rebound by Ravenel of Voorhees. Anaze Ravenel. Voorhees leads by 12, and they look to extend this lead. 1-1 with Alexis Lee. Nadisha Ford, runner, got the jumper. Got the little teardrop runner. Nadisha Ford does, and that's her first points of the game. 37-23, a minute into the second half. Fort Lauderdale down by 14. Lexus Lee gets a screen from Lors. Finds Lors outside the arc straight away. Brittany Carver at the right wing, 3 on the way. Short, rebound by Lors. Second chance bucket, no. Foul on Ford. Lors goes to the line as Ford picks up foul number 2. Charlotte Lors scored the first 7 points for Fort Lauderdale before anybody else scored. That was in the first and the second quarter. Lors hasn't scored since. And she has a chance to pick up her 8th and 9th point of the game with a couple of free throws, a minute 10 into this third quarter, as Tyra Wright comes down and Kenesha Battle comes in for 3-point prowess. Battle can shoot from beyond the arc just like Carver can. Lors' first shot is way short, only grazes the front rim. Lors is the transfer student from Morehead State. Second free throw for Lors upcoming. And Lors knocks it down. 8 points for Charlotte Lors. It's 37-24. Alyssa Herter is in. Nadisha Ford out. The inbound from Ravenel. Snow to Bunkley. Gets it across midcourt to Ravenel. Finds Colclough. First chance bucket, no on the jumper. Second chance jumper from the right side. Gets her from 20 feet away. Inga Colclough picks up her first bucket of the game. 39-24. Voorhees leads by 15. Carver finds Lee at the right wing. Back to Carver straight away outside the arc. Battle 3 left wing. Got it. Kenesha Battle with her first 3 of the game, and it comes at a good time. She has 6 points. 39-27. Fort Lauderdale back within 12. Lobs it up for Bunkley. Back to Snow as Fort Lauderdale settles down on defense. Snow inside to Herter. Bounces it back outside the arc to Bunkley. Goes inside, goes around Lors. Layup over Carver. No. Whistle. Foul, I think, on Carver. As Bunkley got knocked over. And the foul is on Carver. That is her first personal. And the first team foul in Fort Lauderdale in this quarter. Bunkley inbounds it to Colclough. Feeds it to Ravenel, blocked by Loers. Puts it up over Loers with a second chance bucket. Ravenel gets it. 11 points for Anaze Ravenel. 41-27. Voorhees back up by 14. Lexus Lee at the right wing outside the arc. Carver straightaway three, in and out. Rebound by Colclough. That looked pretty good from where I'm sitting, but it took the wrong turn off the rim as it rolled around like a motorcycle on a velodrome. There's a stolen away by Charlotte Loers. Finds Kenesha Battle. Wild shot on the layup. Didn't try any iron. Only hit the backboard, and that's all. Snow with the ball for Voorhees as she settles it down. 7:12 remaining in the third quarter. Voorhees leads by 14. Three from the far corner. Perfect from Bunkley. That is Bunkley's third three of the contest. She has a dozen. 44-27 in favor of Voorhees. They lead by 17. Lob into Loers. Reverse layup in. Charlotte Loers with 10 points. Fort Lauderdale's back within 15. 44-29. 6:44 remaining in the third quarter. Colclough bounce pass right of the lane. Intercepted by Joseph. Fort Lauderdale with the ball yet again. Lee back up the floor. Lee finds Joseph at the right wing. Kenesha Battle far corner three. That's another one. Back-to-back threes on back-to-back attempts for Kenesha Battle. She has 9 points. 44-32. Fort Lauderdale back within 12. Herder at the left wing. Doesn't think about shooting the three. Snow sells it down. 1-1 against Lee. 6:10 remaining in the third quarter. Voorhees up by 12, looking to extend this lead. Bunkley holds it over her head. Finds Herder at the right wing. Bucket! Got it, and one. Foul on Charlotte Loers. That is her third personal. And Herder goes to the line with a chance for a three-point play. And that was a foul that Loers did not necessarily need to commit. Kura Johnson, the track star, comes in. Brittany Carver and Lexus Lee check out. And also in is number 3, Jalen Bryant. Saw minimal playing time in the first half, despite being one of the starters. Herder looks to complete the three-point play. That's off to the left. And it comes down to Esther Joseph. Fort Lauderdale down by 14. Charlotte Loers at the foul line. Yelena Thomas with the ball. Goes inside, traveling on Thomas before the bucket. They call traveling on Thomas, so that's why there wasn't a bucket. So Fort Lauderdale still trails by 14 as they miss an opportunity there. Ladisha Ford, 1-1 against Joseph. Hop steps, keeps control. Snow at the right side. They give it back to Snow. Shot clock at 10. Bunkley, three, far corner again. Knocks down her second in a row. Bunkley's fourth three gives her 15. 49-32. Fort Lauderdale's back down by 17. Fort Lauderdale looking for a bucket to stay in this contest any way that they can. Esther Joseph, bounce pass to Jalen Bryant. Joseph to Thomas, left wing three. Frozen rope off the front rim. Rebound by Bunkley of Voorhees. 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 49-32. Fort Lauderdale's down by 17. Bunkley, how about three in a row? Yes, sirree. 3 in a row for Bunkley, gives her 18 and her third three-pointer in the quarter. 52-32. Voorhees with their biggest lead of the game, up by 20, and Joy Alameen takes a timeout as Voorhees has opened it up. A 20-point lead with 4:43 remaining in the third quarter, and they can thank 3 straight threes from Tyshemia Bunkley, giving her 9 points in the quarter and 5 threes for the entire game. 52-32. So after the 30-second timeout, 52-32 is the score. Voorhees out in front. Fort Lauderdale has an inbound from the scorer's table with Esther Joseph. 4 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Fort Lauderdale down by 20, looking to settle it down and find some points any way they can. Charlotte Lors, offensive foul on Lors, knocking over Alyssa Herder. And Lors picks up foul number 4, personal foul number 4. Back into the game is number 33, Nia Marshall, and she gets ready to inbound. 52-32, Voorhees up by 20. Voorhees has played very well today, both offensively and defensively. Nadisha Ford gives it to Marshall, off to the left with a shot by Marshall, a 10-foot jumper from the left side of the lane. Joseph comes back with it for Fort Lauderdale. 4:10 left in the third quarter. Jalen Bryant blocked by Marshall as Bryant took it over to the right side of the lane. There's a whistle and a foul as Ford went up with a layup, couldn't get the shot to go. Thomas came down with a rebound, but first it's a foul on Esther Joseph, it looks like, her second, and the fourth team foul on UFTL in this third. 2 shots for Nadisha Ford. With 3:57 remaining in the third quarter, a 20-point lead for Voorhees. Ford's first free throw, she has it. 21-point lead for Voorhees. Ford shooting 62.3% on free throws. She comes in the leading scorer for Voorhees, 14.7 points per game. Second free throw rattles out. Ford in this game has just a deuce, or 3 points actually, with that one free throw. 53-32, bad pass, it is out of bounds. And a discussion over who it last touched. 53-32, Voorhees leads by 21. It is, looks like Voorhees' ball, yes it is. Tyshemia Bunkley to inbound. Already with a 21-point lead in this third quarter. They've outscored Fort Lauderdale by 11 in this quarter alone. They can add on even more to it. Ford outside the arc, 1-1 against Joseph. Almost lost the ball, but Aubrey Callum, her first playing time, keeps it alive. Whistle, and there's a foul on Thomas. Yelena Thomas picks up her second personal, and that's the 5th team foul in Fort Lauderdale, so that means it's free throws. As Jalen Bryant comes out, Tyra Wright is back in. 2 free throws for Aubrey Callum, her first playing time. And with her unusual shooting motion, where she basically winds up and shoots it from the right side of her ear, can't knock down the first one. It's off to the right. Her second free throw, and she gets awarded a point on the free throw. Aubrey Callum, 54-32. Fort Lauderdale's down by 22. Tipped away, kept alive by Kanisha Battle. Her first playing time at home since the home opener. A whistle and a foul as Nia Marshall trips her. Marshall gets called for her first personal foul. Curtis Johnson, the track star, also for Fort Lauderdale, inbounds to Esther Joseph. 3.5 remaining in the third quarter. Almost intercepted by Herder, but kept alive in Fort Lauderdale's possession because it last touched Herder. Joseph bounced past the battle. Inside, outside the arc to Thomas. 3 right wing, rattles in. They called a 2. Her foot was on the line. For Yelena Thomas, her first points of the game, 54-34. Nadisha Ford off the glass and in for the right side of the basket. Ford with 5 points. She's the leading scorer for Voorhees at over 14 points per game. That's only her 5th for this contest. 56-34, under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. 22-point lead for Voorhees. Joseph at the right wing. Steps with the right foot. Hands it off to Yelena Thomas, who made the last bucket. Shot clock down to 10. Joseph at the right wing. Inside to Tyra Wright. Layup doesn't draw any iron. A rebound by Herter. Back comes Voorhees. Nadisha Ford, fast break, 2 against 2. Callum blocked from behind by Thomas, taken away by Wright. Fort Lauderdale back on the offensive. Esther Joseph with the attack. Left of the lane, stolen from behind by Ford. Say goodnight, Ford all alone. 1 against none. Lays it up and in. 7 points for Nadisha Ford. Timeout, Fort Lauderdale. With 2:15 left in the third quarter, 30-second timeout. They're down by 24 as Voorhees has opened this game up. What looked like a competitive game in this third quarter has turned into a bloodbath, and Voorhees is chomping on the Lady Eagles. We'll stay right here with you because this is only a 30-second timeout. But Voorhees is doing everything well on both the offensive and the defensive boards, getting takeaways and also turning those takeaways into points. Fort Lauderdale plays the game tomorrow on the road at Florida Memorial to face the Lions. They will not be back here at home until after New Year's. Tashimia Bunkley has come alive in the third quarter. 3 threes by her. Or 4 threes by her in the third quarter, actually. She has 5 for the game, 4 of them this quarter. Gives her the leading scorer overall out of anybody. 18 points in all. And the third quarter in this game is still not over. And Bunkley is still in there playing at a very high level. The inbound coming from Esther Joseph between the bench and the Fort Lauderdale bench and the scorer's table. Joseph at the left wing. Outside the arc to Kanisha Battle. Courage Johnson back to Battle straight away outside the arc. Johnson, plenty of time on the shot clock. Lee launches a 3 from the right side. No. Ravenel lets it go, and Voorhees gets it back on the out-of-bounds play. And they have to go the length of the court. The inbound to Aubrey Callum finds Nadisha Ford on the cross-court pass. Nia Marshall back over to Callum. Inside to Marshall, layup right side, out. Gets a second chance bucket, and 1. Marshall to the line. Her fourth point of the game, and a chance for a 3-point play possibility. Fort Lauderdale, of course, over the limit, so it's free throws anyway. As Nia Marshall gets ready to shoot the free throw. Her first free throw attempt of this game. Marshall looking for her 5th point. And she's got it. 5 points. 61-34. Voorhees up by 27. Fort Lauderdale with 1:37 left in the third quarter. Looking for a bucket to finish off the third quarter with something good to brag about. Lexus Lee at the left wing, intercepted by Ravenel. Voorhees on the attack offensively yet again. Nadisha Ford, length of the court pass to Aubrey Callum and back to Ford. They settle it down. Voorhees not in any hurry in this third quarter. They have a 61-34 lead with a minute 10 remaining in this third quarter. Ford 1-1 against Battle. Right wing goes inside, picked up by Lee. Whistle, foul, and 1. That time on Lexus Lee. Ford with a chance for another 3-point play. Lee picks up her first. Elena Thomas, Mia Williams, Christiana Mormon, her first playing time, as is Williams. And Jalen Bryant into the game. Kanisha Battle, the only one still out there that was not taken out. Nadisha Ford with a free throw coming up. Looking to make it a 30-point lead for Voorhees. And that she does. Ford with 10 points. She's about 4 points away from her game average, coming in with a little more than 14 points per game on average. Intercepted by Aubrey Callum off the bad pass from Bryant. Callum out, rebound by Yelena Thomas of Fort Lauderdale. Nice play, and whistle for a foul on Aubrey Callum as she had Thomas smothered in the backcourt. Second personal foul or second team foul rather. First personal foul on Callum, second team foul in the quarter for Voorhees. 64-34, 49 seconds left in the third. Jalen Bryant has it. Over to Kenesha Battle. 40 seconds left in the third. Battle almost lost the ball, keeps control, blocking foul on Voorhees. This goes against number 33, Nia Marshall, her second personal and fourth team foul on Voorhees. And it's Kenesha Battle to inbound. Actually, rather from the side, Kenesha Battle doing it. It's Elena Thomas from underneath the rim. Lobs it to Kenesha Battle, but a whistle for a foul on Aubrey Callum as she got the interception. Edward Glover of Voorhees doesn't like that one, but it was the right call as Battle was knocked over by Callum, and it's 2 shots for Kenesha Battle. 34.2 remaining. So the free throw coming up for Kenesha Battle. She knocks down the first to give Battle her 10th point of the contest and one of 3 in double figures for Fort Lauderdale. The other 2 being Lors and Carver. Battle knocks down both. 11 points for her. 64-36, 28-point lead for Voorhees. Nadisha Ford outside the arc. She's over by the midcourt logo. 1-1 against Thomas. Whistle, foul on Thomas. And it's more free throws for Voorhees and more free throws for Ford. Inga Colclough back into the game as Nia Marshall sits. Tyshemia Bunkley getting ready to check in after the free throws from Nadisha Ford. 22.1 showing on the game clock. The shot clock is off. Ford's first free throw is in to give her 11 points. 65-36, Voorhees increases their lead to 29. Ford's second free throw is nothing but the bottom of the net. 12 points for her. Bunkley back in, replacing Alyssa Herter. 22.1 remaining in the third. Shot clock is off. Fort Lauderdale to play for the last shot in the third quarter. Jalen Bryant stuck in the backcourt. Fort Lauderdale stuck in the backcourt. Intercepted off the deflection by Aubrey Callum. Bunkley cross-court pass intercepted the other way by Elena Thomas. Clock down to 7. Down to 6. Thomas puts up from 15 feet away from the right side of the bucket and gets it. Elena Thomas does. Clock down to 1, and that's all for the third quarter. Elena Thomas finishes off the third quarter for Fort Lauderdale with a bucket. Gives Fort Lauderdale 38 for the game. Voorhees with 66. And we'll go to the final 10 minutes with Voorhees enjoying a commanding 66-38 lead on the UFTL Sports Network. Tyshemia Bunkley to inbound to begin the fourth quarter. the fourth and final quarter of this game before Fort Lauderdale hits the road for a lengthy road trip. They won't be back here until January. 66-38, Voorhees leads the visitors from Denmark, South Carolina. They played a tremendous game in both the offensive and the defensive floor. Bunkley gives it to Ford. Voorhees, I'm sure, just trying to use as much time as they can with a 28-point lead. They're really in no hurry. It's almost like they're trying to run out the clock at this point with a big lead. Shot clock is at 6. Cole Clow, 1-on-1 against Mormon. Goes into the center of the lane, puts up a jumper, doesn't get it. Off to the right, rebound by Charlotte Lors. Took it away from 2 Voorhees defenders. Nice play. Fort Lauderdale back on the offensive for the first time in the fourth quarter. Lors in to begin the fourth, as is Brittany Carver. 1-on-1 against Ford. Around the horn they go. Yelena Thomas tells Carver to come back and get it. Gives it to Carver at the left wing. Holds it over her head. There's a 3 from the far corner. Doesn't go. Whistle, foul on Mormon, and that is a hard foul as Nadisha Ford takes a nasty spill. Mormon picks up her first personal. The 3 by Yelena Thomas. She was open from the far corner. It just did not go down. 1 minute gone by in this fourth quarter. 66-38 in favor of Voorhees. And for Fort Lauderdale, this is a team trying to put together the pieces in their first year as a competitive squad in league play. And they've had flashes of good throughout the season. They've been able to hang in with very tough opponents throughout the season. There's a bad pass in the lane, intercepted by Brittany Carver. Fort Lauderdale, despite the fact they're down by 28, they do not stop playing defense. Carver throws it away, throws it behind Yelena Thomas, and Voorhees has the ball back offensively. A minute and a half gone by in this fourth quarter. 66-38 in favor of the Voorhees Lady Tigers. The inbound from Ravenel to Nadisha Ford. And before we close out today with 8 minutes and change remaining in this fourth quarter, I just want to tell everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's from all of us at the UFTL Athletics Department. They do a great job here. They're hard workers day in and day out, trying to put together the best product for the fans, the students, and the community at hand. Shot clock down to 5. Cole Cloud collects it. Shot clock down to 2. Down to 1. Ford puts up a 20-foot jumper blind off the rim. Reset of the shot clock, and what a play by Ravenel. Gets the second chance bucket for her 13th point of the game. 68-38, 7:50 left in the third quarter. A 30-point lead for Voorhees. Brittany Carver outside the arc directing traffic. Finds Jalen Bryant over to Lena Thomas at the hash mark. Tells Brittany Carver to come back and get it, and she has it. Check going on from the Voorhees bench. Inside to Christiana Mormon, intercepted by Cole Clow. And Voorhees on the offensive yet again. This is Nadisha Ford as Voorhees looks to kill more time. 7:20 to go on the game clock. Shot clock is not a factor. Voorhees basically playing keep away as Aubrey Callum has the ball for Voorhees. Callum inside to Ravenel. Callum with the ball, bounce pass back outside the arc to Bunkley. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Offensive foul on Ford. Ford's third personal foul with 7 minutes left in the third. Substitution as Kenesha Battles back into the game for Christiana Mormon. That is Ford's third personal foul and the first team foul on either side in this fourth. Yelena Thomas inbound to Brittany Carver as Fort Lauderdale trails by 30. They don't have to dwell in this game for too long because they have a game coming up tomorrow as Brittany Carver knocks down a wide open 3 from the left wing for her fourth 3 of the game and giving her 14 points as Fort Lauderdale's leading scorer. Whistle, timeout taken by Voorhees. Andrew Glover out on the floor, arms crossed, not happy about something. They might have a 27-point lead, but you have to appreciate the fact that he's a perfectionist in all facets, trying not to let his team get carried away or in any kind of mentality that the game is over. Despite the big lead, he's not happy about something on the offensive floor for Voorhees. But with 6:40 remaining in the fourth quarter, it's still a 27-point lead for the Voorhees Lady Tigers. We'll be right back in just a moment on the UFTL Sports Network. Tyshimia Bunkley to inbound for Voorhees after the 30-second timeout from Voorhees. They have a 68-41 lead. There's 20 seconds on the shot clock. Lobs it into Zainaya Snow. She's had her share of big plays in this game, and she has 9 points off the bench. Snow with a layup, got it, and one. Snow goes to the line. She has 11 points, looks to make it 12. The foul is on number 24, Kanisha Battle. That is her second personal foul. And the first team foul on UFTL in this quarter. And for the first time in this game, Quanesha Myers is into the game. As Snow looks to make it a three-point play, and she does not. It rattles off the rim and comes down to Charlotte Lors. It hung on the rim for a long time, it did. Charlotte Lors, wild shot with a layup, wasn't set and missed it off to the side. Rebound by Tyshimia Bunkley. Voorhees back on the offensive, leading by 29, 70-41. Quanesha Myers with the ball for the first time. Bounce pass to Inga Colclough, lost the ball out of bounds. Fort Lauderdale has it back. And Ravenel couldn't save it from going out. Yelena Thomas inbound to the Brittany Carver, and we reset with 6 minutes remaining in this game. On a bright, but by Florida standards, mild day in Fort Lauderdale. Kanisha Battle keeps the ball from being a backcourt violation. 20-foot jumper from Charlotte Lors on the left side of the lane. Rattles around the rim and comes down to Voorhees. Zainaya Snow back with it for the Voorhees Tigers. 70-41 is the score. Myers outside the arc. Poked away by Lors and taken away by Fort Lauderdale. Over to Lors. Layup. Got it. Right side of the bucket. Charlotte Lors has 12 points in the game. 70-43. Fort Lauderdale. You have to appreciate how hard they fight despite the big deficit. Down by 27. 5:13 left in the fourth. Brittany Carver knocks it off of Myers, and Fort Lauderdale has the ball right back. Nice play by Brittany Carver. Read the passing lane perfectly. Substitutions as Courage Johnson and Esther Joseph are back in. Yelena Thomas and Charlotte Lors sub out. Esther Joseph to inbound. And Fort Lauderdale with 5 and change remaining in this contest, looking to finish up this game as good as possible as they look ahead to tomorrow against Florida Memorial. A very solid opponent and the only HBCU in the South Florida area. Brittany Carver holds the ball outside the arc. Takes it to the center. Shot clock down to 7. Bounce pass to Battle. Goes inside Battle. Teardrop. Floater. No. Gets her own rebound. Second chance bucket. Got it off the glass and a foul. Nice play by Battle. Staying with the play. Getting the bucket and has a chance for a three-point play. Foul is on number 24, Inga Colclough, her first, as Battle picks up her 13th point of the contest. The free throw will make it 14. Ravenel out, Alyssa Herter back in. Battle's free throw is up, and it is out. Rebound by Jalen Bryan of Fort Lauderdale. Whistle and a foul on Colclough, her second in a row. This time it's not free throws, but rather an inbound for Courage Johnson. And a timeout on the floor with 4:40 remaining in the contest. It is a 70-45 lead for Voorhees. It's an official's timeout because there's a wet spot right in front of the Fort Lauderdale bench. So it's not an official timeout taken by any team. So the inbound getting ready to come from Courage Johnson. Fort Lauderdale trailing by 25. After they take care of this wet spot. And they've done so. And also substitutions as Charlotte Lors and Elena Thomas are back in for Kenesha Battle. And also Jalen Bryant. Lors has the ball inside the arc, goes to the lane, throws it up, doesn't get it, foul, goes to the line for free throws. Charlotte Lors, as the foul is committed by number 10, Snow, her first personal, and the fourth team foul on Voorhees in this fourth quarter. One more and it's free throws the rest of this game for the Lady Eagles. Lors with a couple of free throws. Her first shot is in. It rattles in. Lors playing with 4 personal fouls, and she has 13 points in the game. Looking to make it 14 and match her total with Brittany Carver, who also has 14. Misses that one short. Scramble for the rebound, jump ball signal. Fort Lauderdale keeps control. Nice hustle play by Esther Joseph with Inga Colclough. Joseph inbounds to Courage Johnson. Cross-court pass to Elena Thomas outside the arc. Charlotte Lors left for the lane. Whistle, foul, and one. Lors with the last 3 points for Fort Lauderdale, and Charlotte Lors. You wouldn't think that Fort Lauderdale's trailing by a lot with the way Charlotte Lors has played today. And also Brittany Carver. Ravenel back into the game for Alyssa Herder, who checks out. Lors with an and one possibility, looking to make it 16 as Lors has become Fort Lauderdale's leading scorer. 4.5 remaining in the ball game. Lors' free throw gets it. 16 points for her. 70-49. Fort Lauderdale with 4 straight points. They trail by 21. Into Quanisha Myers off the glass and in with a layup. Quanisha Myers, her first playing time of the game, comes off the bench, gets the bucket. 72-49. Fort Lauderdale with the ball. Esther Joseph controls it. Voorhees leads by 23. Cross-court pass to Elena Thomas outside the arc. 1-on-1 against Snow. Over to Joseph. Bounce pass to Thomas. Goes inside. Try to feed it inside to Lors. It's intercepted by Ravenel for Voorhees. And the Voorhees Lady Tigers back up the floor. Sanaya Snow sells it down. Bunkley 3 from the far corner. No. Ravenel second chance bucket rattles out, and it comes down to Courage Johnson of Fort Lauderdale. Voorhees unlucky that time. They did everything but make it. Carver at the left wing goes inside, pull up 15-footer at the left side. No. Knocked down. Has a couple of free throws. Brittany Carver for 2 shots. Carver has 14 in this game. She has 4 threes overall. The leading 3-point shooter today for the Eagles as she knocks down the first free throw to give her an even 15. Kiana Felder getting ready to check back in for the Lady Tigers. She has her knee in a brace, but apparently she's good to go as Carver knocks down both shots. 72-51. Voorhees leads by 21. Felder is in. Inga Colclough out. And Felder will inbound. She comes into the game and gets to inbound with 3:28 remaining in this contest. Intercepted by Charlotte Lors. No bucket. It looks like they'll reset. A whistle blew, taking away the interception from Charlotte Lors. And with 3:25 remaining, they'll do this again. Bunkley to Myers. 3:22 remaining. Fort Lauderdale's playing solid defense. Tipped around by Snow. Keeps it alive, but Fort Lauderdale gets it back. Here's Elena Thomas. Fast break back up the floor. 2 against 1. Layup off the glass, no. Whistle, foul. Thomas goes to the line. Voorhees over the limit, so free throws the rest of the way for the Lady Eagles. The foul is on number 21, Bunkley, her second. And Thomas goes to the line for free throws as Ford comes back in for Snow. Nadisha Ford. 3:10 remaining in this fourth quarter. Thomas's first shot is way short. Clanks off the front rim. One more free throw coming up for Yelena Thomas, making her home debut today. Knocks down the second. Thomas has 5 points. 72-52, a 20-point lead for Voorhees. Nadisha Ford controls it from behind. A steal by Esther Joseph as she doesn't stop playing, but in a bad pass the other way as Bunkley gets it back for Voorhees. Nadisha Ford holds on to it. You can bet she'll be more cognizant with it this time. Intercepted that time by Loers. Fort Lauderdale back on the offensive. 2-on-2, fast break. Loers got it. Foul. Foul is on Bunkley, her third. I think it's on Bunkley. And it is. Bunkley picks up her third as Lee, Mormon, Williams, and Wright are back in for Johnson, Carver, Thomas, and Joseph. Charlotte Loers at the line for the N1 play as Loers has 18 points in this game. Her free throw cuts it down to 17 with 2:45 remaining. We might have seen the end of Joseph and Carver for this game as Joy Alamine brings in her bench to finish things up. The free throw from Loers rims in. 19 points for Charlotte Loers. She's Fort Lauderdale's leading scorer in this game. 72-55. Voorhees up by 17, but Fort Lauderdale, they still have a competitive nature despite the deficit they have. They were down by over 20. Herter dishes it back to Snow and over to Ford. Shot clock is at 8. Ford inside, bounce pass to Ravenel, lost the ball, gets it back, shot clock at 2. Ford pull up 18-footer from the left side, doesn't draw iron, shot clock violation because it didn't draw any iron. Fort Lauderdale with solid defense on that trip. Fort Lauderdale with the ball. They trail 72-55 with 2:13 to go. Kiana Felder is out. The ball belongs to Lexus Lee. Fort Lauderdale stuck in their own backcourt yet again. Into Mormon, too high, and taken away by Ravenel. 2 minutes to go, a 17-point lead for Voorhees. All they have to do is just settle it down with a 17-point lead. Snow has the ball and dishes it to Bunkley. 1:48 remaining in this contest. Shot clock not a factor. Voorhees can use as much time as they need. Bunkley with a shot clock at 8. Goes around Mormon. Bunkley, whistle, foul. Despite the fact that Fort Lauderdale looked like they got all ball that time. Loers did. Foul is on, I think, number 15, Tyra Wright. Or is it on Mormon? The foul is on Mormon, her second, number 45. And for 2 shots, it is Tyshemia Bunkley, who has 18 points in this game, looking to make it an even 20, although that's not going to happen this trip down. The first free throw misses long. 1:38 remaining in this fourth quarter. Bunkley's second free throw. She knocks it down to give Bunkley 19 for the game. 73-55, 1:35 remaining. Thomas to Mormon, has trouble holding on to it, but she has it. Intercepted by Snow. And Voorhees on the offensive floor yet again. Nadisha Ford, double teamed by the scorer's table, gets it away and sells it down. Backs it up to the midcourt logo. Ford against Lee. Shot clock not a factor, only halfway used. 1:15 remaining, an 18-point lead for Voorhees, 73-55. Bunkley against Mormon, right of the lane. finds Ravenel off the glass, can't finish with the layup, rebound by Mormon. Fort Lauderdale back on the offensive one more time. Less than a minute to go, 73-55 the score. Thomas thought about the three, but backs up to the bench area. Lee into Mormon, left of the lane. Holds it with both hands, trails it with both hands, and back to Lee. Mia Williams has the ball at the right wing, shot clock down to 8. Back to Lee, outside the arc straight away, goes inside, pull up 15-footer, and that's nothing but net for Lexus Lee. Her first points of the game is 73-57. As we have a substitution. Nikira Lewis with her first playing time as Ravenel comes out. Lewis with her first playing time. She'll finish up this game for Voorhees with a 73-57 lead, a 16-point lead for the Lady Tigers. 30 seconds remaining. Back up the floor comes Nadisha Ford. She just dribbles it. Voorhees really doesn't need to shoot it. There's about a 5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Lewis has the ball against Mormon. Lewis keeps control of it. Bunkley at the right wing. Back out to Ford. They settle it down with 5 seconds. Ford to the foul line. Teardrop runner gets the bounce with 4.5 seconds to go. Nadisha Ford does to give her 14 points for the game. 4.5 seconds to go. It's out of bounds. And it goes back to Voorhees one more time. 4.5 seconds left. All Voorhees has to do is just inbound the ball, and that would basically be it. 4.5 seconds left for discussion between the officials. .5 seconds remaining. Esther Joseph checks in one more time for Lexus Lee. So they reset the clock to 4 seconds. It was deflected by Voorhees, so Fort Lauderdale with one more trip with 4 seconds left. Esther Joseph has it with 4 seconds. It's a three, straightaway three to close off the game. Off the front of the rim, Nikira Lewis comes up with a rebound for Voorhees, and that's all. 75-57 the final score. Voorhees wins this one going away on what was a competitive game going into halftime, but Voorhees, thanks to a 33-15 third quarter, that's all they needed, and Fort Lauderdale goes down to defeat on their home floor. But they don't have to dwell on this loss too long. They have a game coming up tomorrow night against Florida Memorial down in Miami Gardens in about 24 hours from now. Voorhees breaks up their 3-game losing streak, and they move to 3-10 on the year as Edward Glover had his team playing well. Bunkley is the leading scorer for Voorhees with 19, followed by Ford with 14, and Snow with 11 off the bench. Ravenel with 13 as a starter. For Fort Lauderdale, Charlotte Lors is the leading scorer with 19, Brittany Carver with 14, and Kanisha Bowell with 13. From all of us at the University of Fort Lauderdale Athletics, I'm David Griffith, the voice of the Eagles, and this has been women's basketball on the UFTL Sports Network. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, everybody. We'll see you in January when Fort Lauderdale comes back home. Until we meet again, so long, everybody.